I want to let you know that all of us should be free and equal and have equal opportunity. And that is what I'm trying to instill and encourage and inspire young people to reach their highest potential.
Today, we will be talking about Rosa Parks, a courageous woman whose actions during a bus ride helped change the lives of many African Americans. She did not accept discrimination quietly, and her bravery inspired many others in the fight for equality. Rosa Parks was born on February 4, 1913, in Tuskegee, Alabama, in the southern United States. Her mother was a teacher, and her father was a carpenter. She also had a younger brother named Sylvester. After her parents separated when she was very young, Rosa and Sylvester moved with their mother to Montgomery, Alabama, to live with their grandmother. She didn't see her father again until she was an adult. Rosa loved to learn and worked hard in school, but unfortunately, she had to leave high school at the age of 16 to care for her dying grandmother, and shortly after her very ill mother. At the age of 19, Rosa met Raymond Park, a barber and a political activist who fought for equal rights. They fell in love and eventually got married. He encouraged her to return to high school to earn her diploma, which she did. After that, she began working as a seamstress in Montgomery. Life for African Americans like Rosa was hard. At the time, the southern United States operated under the Jim Crow laws, which is a set of laws introduced in the late 19th century that claims to give African Americans separated but equal status and treatment. But the truth is, there was no equality whatsoever created by white authorities who thought black people's life didn't matter as much as theirs. These laws enforced racial segregation and allowed for discrimination to happen against African Americans referred to, at that time, colored people. Among other things, they had separated schools, churches, libraries, restaurants, toilets, drinking fountain, and waiting rooms. Rosa didn't have a choice and had to walk to school while the white kids were taken in buses. In some places, there were laws banning black people from sports events and even forbidding them to work in the same office as a white person. African Americans had far fewer rights. Racist laws known as black codes restricted them to low-paying jobs and made it difficult for them to vote. These laws also meant innocent black people could be arrested for small things and the actions based on others. Rosa Parks worked as a seamstress at the Montgomery Fair department store, a retail establishment. She had been employed there for several years before her arrest. In her role as a seamstress, she was responsible for tasks such as alternating clothing, making repairs, and possibly providing custom tailoring for customers. Additionally, Parks served as a secretary for the Montgomery chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, where she became actively involved in civil rights advocacy. Despite her significant contributions to the civil rights movement, her main role as a seamstress helped her maintain a sense of normalcy and her life before she gained fame. On December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks sparked a change. That afternoon, after a long day working as a seamstress in Montgomery Fair department store, Rosa boarded the bus to head home. At that time in Montgomery, the seats at the front of the bus were reserved for white passengers, while the seats at the back were designated for black passengers. Rosa took a seat in the middle section, where black passengers were allowed to sit unless a white person wanted the seat or was standing. As the bus filled with new riders, the driver noticed that many whites were standing and asked Parks to give up her seat for a white passenger's. She refused and remained seated. The driver then caught the police, and Parks was arrested. When Rosa Parks got to the courthouse for her trial that morning, she was with her lawyer, Fred Gray. A big crowd of around 500 local supporters were there to cheer her on and show their support. After a hearing that lasted about 30 minutes, Parks was found guilty of breaking a local rule. She had to pay a fine of $10, plus a $4 court fee. Shortly after, Rosa's arrest was on the news. The Black citizens of Montgomery came together and agreed to boycott the city buses and protest. This meant that from the 5th of December 1955, African Americans refused to travel on buses. Rosa Parks wasn't the first to resist giving up her seat. There was a brave girl named Claudette Colvin. She was 15 years old. She was a nurse aide and an activist. She also refused to give up her seat to a white passenger about 9 months before Rosa did. However, the NAACP thought Rosa would be a better person to share with everyone. Because of that, not many people knew about Claudette Act at the time. On the morning of December 5th, a group of leaders from the Black community got together at Memti Zion Church in Montgomery to talk about how to work together for change. They realized they needed a new group and strong leaders to help with their boycott. So, they created the Montgomery Improvement Associations and chose Martin Luther King Jr., a new minister in town, to help lead the way. Unfortunately, despite the victory, life was not easy for Rosa and her fellow activists after the boycott. They faced non-stop violence and threats from angry white groups. Rosa continued to advocate for the civil rights and support those who suffered from discrimination and injustice. She remained involved with the NAACP and participated in numerous civil rights events. In 1987, she co-funded the Rosa and Raymond Park Institute for Self-Development. Rosa passed away from natural causes on October 24, 2005, at the age of 92. However, she remains recognized all over the world. She will never be forgotten for her remarkable achievement.